Hey y'all, welcome to Off the Beaten Path. My name is Kush.
My name is Breezy. On our podcast, we explore the great outdoors and the Second Amendment with a blend of culture,
comedy, and conversation. And oh yeah,
come back to me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome y'all back to another episode of Off the Beaten Path. We've been getting a lot of love and burn on socials and really on the downloads. And today is a very special day for me personally. Y'all see my guest, Wilkine Brutus. Y'all see my brother, Rob Breezy Henson. And the reason why this particular episode is so special to me is because Wilkine is actually a childhood friend of mine. We went to school together. I don't know what, middle school, right?
Yeah, sixth grade, bro.
Yeah, we went to middle school together, high school together, and then we flourished to become some amazing stallions. So,
sexy mammals.
Yeah, sexy mammals. Without further ado, Wilkine, I want to welcome you on, and if you can introduce yourself for the people, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me on. I really appreciate it. I was gonna really rock. Yeah, I'm Wilkine Brutus. I'm a multimedia journalist. I'm the founder of Maps Diaries, a personal documentary platform, and I've been a professional journalist for the past 10, 15 years now. And I would consider myself an artist as well, a poet. And so, a Swiss Army knife.
Is this Kush, this is kind of like our full circle moment, right? Like with Wilkine.
Yes, it is full circle because when I was with the Palm Beach Post, I interviewed you guys with Forever Dope. Music production that you guys were doing with some incredible talent, and but those incredible talent were going to incredible engineers to get their music polished. Right. Yeah. And so just the work that you guys were doing at the time, I felt it was necessary to bring you guys on and do that feature story on you guys. And it just so happened that I knew Chris for a while. And that's the beauty of having a talented network, a proven talented network, because you can have close friends who want coverage on whatever that they're doing. Yeah. But if the community isn't responding to it, I can't cover you. There needs to be tangible results, So kudos to you two, man.
I can't imagine.
Man, thank you for giving you flowers as well. Yeah, that was I love the way you position the story, of like the voice to the unheard. And I thought that was really cool. Oh.
So let's rewind a little bit because man, this podcast, I told you it is explorative. And one of the things we talk about is intentional on bridging the gap between the urban and outdoors. And I've said last season, the first season, how we are so close to Miami, right? We all, as people, when we start growing up, we take different routes growing up. And, me and my brother started doing hood rat stuff when we became of like age, 15 when we got our car. We were just kind of like, all right, high school basketball is cool, but no, we want to go this way. So we kind of did that. And we didn't really get to explore the outdoors from the time we were, I wouldn't even say as early as 12. From the time I was 12 to, I don't know, maybe my late 30s, I hadn't done anything out in the outdoors except the beach because we live right here, right? And you have a similar story with coming from an area that is just like most people who live in an urban area like we do, they're not really exposed to this stuff. And over the last year or so, I've seen you on your stories. You're in Arkansas, right?
Yeah, I was in Arkansas. Yeah.
Yep. So you're in Arkansas, like
visiting.
Hiking. I don't know. You slipped almost on a
No. So that was in the Smoky Mountains.
Okay.
And I went hiking in the Smoky Mountains. Arkansas. I have a very close family friend who I consider family, my father figure, Kenny Carswell. He and his wife own a farm in Arkansas and 60 plus acres of land. Awesome. And we're talking ATVs, chickens, goats. I'm doing cartwheels with my shirt off. I'm just being my goofy self.
Got the whole experience.
Yeah. And, but to go to the premise of your question, being from a neighborhood, especially coming from parents who were Haitian refugees, who didn't have resources prior to coming to this country. My mom had to get it out the mud, and that means living in Dyson Circle, which was a project housing dwelling in West Palm Beach, and it's concrete jungle. But one of the great things that my mom did for us as kids was she took us to Haiti, and my family is from Jérémie, which is and in Jérémie is a small fishing town, and this is where my direct family is from. And so I got exposed to living outside and fishing with my granddad and doing all those things, and also having a background in sports. So soccer was the first sport I played. Of course, if you Haitian,
of course, yeah.
Of
course,
I say destiny.
Yeah.
So you're outside anyway, right?
Yeah.
But you're not doing the sort of outdoorsy things you would ascribe to what outdoorsy things are: shooting guns, hiking. Right. But I was outside as an athlete, and doing certain things outdoors. It wasn't until I got older where, I started shooting guns and hiking and doing all of those sort of stereotypical definition of what being outdoor means. And so when we had moved out of Dyson Circle to this sort of a lower middle class neighborhood, that was like a change in class. And when you change your class, you get more exposed to different perspectives of what to find, and so that's what kind of like helped also. And then when I looked,
that was like a gem. You dropped a gem on them. That was 100%.
Exposure does it. And then when I left the country and went to South Korea, I mean, we could talk about that later. Well, that's when my brain just expanded. So you get exposed, and then your brain expands.
See, for me, and that's beautiful, because I've said this before. Rob knows my story. You and I will catch up every now and again. You're familiar with my story. What did it for me as far as traveling was in my mid-20s when I got to build my business mentors company, and I was traveling the entire country, having conversations with people from different walks of life. And I was like, yo, y'all exist out here? Like, it's not all like Palm Beach County. It's all like, there's people in New York from London. There's people in, like, it was just mind bending. And I remember distinctively when my mind just kind of clicked. It was like, oh, I no longer desire
the whole world out here outside of Palm Beach County.
It just clicked for me. I no longer desire to do things that are indicative of my childhood or my teenage years. Like, I want to explore, I want to build, I want to professionally network. And that's just on the professional side. On the personal side, it was just like discovering myself at the same time as, I did have kids when I was young, my wife and I. And so all of this is the conversation, because a lot of people in our space, correct me if I'm wrong, Breeze, 90% of them all grew up outdoors. And it's beautiful. The legacy, like, I don't know what
No, I was going to say, just to jump in, I think our experience is beautiful as well, because I can understand now as a South Floridian that grew up in South Florida. Miami's our backyard, right? I was in middle school jumping on the tri-rail, which is the train system to take me down there, and spazzing out. And I have that perspective, and it's, I can remember, I'm sure y'all remember the migration of people from, New York and Boston and then also the middle of the country. I remember kids losing their minds from like, middle country America.
Ohio.
What is this place? Like,
welcome to Florida.
Doing out here, and it's cool that now I kind of like, we talked a little, Wilkine and I, before we hopped on, about I get to travel more now. I get to see people. It was the first time I was ever in Minnesota. You betcha.
Yeah,
you betcha.
And it just helps my understanding of why these kids and what was normal to me in South Florida, the clubs and the music and everything was fast, to seeing how their lifestyle was, and it's like, like you said, that click moment. Like, I understand now. I can only imagine what it must have been like coming to South Florida.
Yeah. So, Wilkine, my question to you is, as an adult, what made you want to start exploring more? Like going outside and going to the Smoky Mountains and going to Arkansas and just living more outdoors.
So I had personal experiences. First of all, I love being outside. I work out outside. I'm not a big fan of working out in the gym, to be honest with you. I do a lot of sprints and calisthenics outside. I love just vitamin D from the sun. I personally,
basketball,
hooping. Sam God. Hey. I personally love hooping outside. Yeah. Pick up basketball outside growing up. Yeah. When you're looking for your friends and all of their bicycles are at this one particular home, yeah, you're probably going there to play Sega or Nintendo, but at some point after you're done, you're going back outside on your bike. As a kid, I used to ride my bike everywhere. I don't know how my mom dealt with that. Like, we were gone.
Yo, hold on real quick. I'm sorry. Just to pop the bikes out front in the front yard. Like, that was our beacon. That's how you knew. I think sometimes like, yo, how did we know all this information?
Energy.
Yeah. You had this, we didn't need no phone. Like, yo, I know what that is.
Yeah, to Rob's point, like, how? I wish we might have to create a dissertation on that, at some point. And so to answer your question, Chris, it was already there. And then as you get older, you get more exposed. And then once you get more exposed, you get more mature. And through that maturity, you start cultivating your village. You start analyzing your friends and your network, because you do a sort of cost benefit analysis of who your friends are. And when you develop a growth mindset, that's when you start really analyzing who is benefiting me, and how can I benefit them. And so it becomes a reciprocal relationship. It's reciprocity.
Value out.
Like, once your network likes what you like to do, which is to go outside, and now they're offering you suggestions on where to go.
100%. And we talked about that a little bit. Was it yesterday, the day before? Because I'm one of those people. I'm actually very proactive about my circle. Rob knows this better than anybody. Every 6 months or so, I'm analyzing my relationships. And I had a friend, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was a client from the studio, said, "Oh, so you're hunting now?" And I was like, that's what I want. Here's the thing is that people see you with a dead animal and a gun and automatically think you're like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to say what it could be because I just don't know. But like, there's a shock value there, right? Like, oh, so what? You're a hunter now? Yeah, I want to explore the outdoors. And part of that is hunting. The relationships we built, the experience we had last year. Remember, Rob, at our first hunt, like as a collective, Wilkine, it was mind-blowing, bro.
I think a lot of people who live in the city put their moral barometer on what they think the reasonings are behind hunting. So they think you're just going to hunt and put that animal's head on your wall. But a lot of those folks go to Publix and get chicken already prepared for them. You go to the islands, go to the Caribbean, that chicken's head had to get popped off. And you see it close and personal. Your grandma does it. Hey, am I going to start judging my grandma? No, that's the meal we're going to eat at that point. And so when you are removed from the natural inclination of human beings, like, you can still be a vegan and vegetarian and, decide not to eat meat. That's okay. But as soon as you start adding forcing your own morality, your own moral compass onto other people who choose to decide to hunt for their food, that's when it gets a little dicey. Because not every culture, not every city, not every town has the luxury to just go to a Publix or go to a Winn-Dixie or any grocery store, Aldi's, and just get their food.
It's a luxury. That's a great point. No, seriously, it is. And we've explored this, so this is kind of my reintroduction because my dad had me outside as a kid. He was a hunter, a fisherman. So I saw a lot of that and, it brings back memories of that. But what's cool about a lot of the people we meet in this outdoor space is they'll pour information into us. And there's things that knowledge I've gained, of the conservation part of it. People that are harvesting these animals, like you said, they're feeding their family for sometimes some years. I mean, they take down a big animal and they harvest it and they're like, oh, this is good. My family and I are good on meat and it's like, man, you think about that. Like you said, if I need meat, I go to Publix. It's a luxury, but it's like, man, there's people that are really living off the land. They're hunting these animals and feeding their families, which is a dope perspective to see.
Have a big deer thigh in a deep freezer.
Someone told us they harvested an elk and they have a family 5. They said that meat lasted us all year long.
Unbelievable.
But it's crazy. They're like, we had so many 100 pounds of meat, and I'm just like,
these are natural human skills. Again, in city life, you're removed from the essence of being a human to that extent. Another thing is also just being, bring up the word exposure quite often. Because if you aren't exposed, you're not challenging your perspective. And that's a lack of having a growth mindset. You have to keep challenging the way in which you think about the world. Whenever I go to Arkansas and I look outside, I actually see the sky versus 1,000 streetlights.
Same. Yeah.
I see the stars. And that does something to your psyche. It does something to the essence of who you are as a human being. And I think hunting, practicing how to protect yourself as a human being, these are all necessary traits that to some extent is removed from city life.
And I do want to say that, like, my family, I come from a family of immigrants too. I remember seeing my father, my uncles, process hogs, process goats, like for family functions. But, life happens. There's changes. After my parents' divorce, there was an absence there because my mom moved us to this side of the city. It's more affordable for her. So the exposure level incredibly diminished by the time, we were 7, right? So it's now exploring, like Rob said, there's so many people willing to pour into you because of I never had a problem killing an animal because, when I lived in South Texas, I worked on a kill floor killing cows for a living just so I can make ends meet for my wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't bother me any. I didn't see it as like I was like, oh, I understand the difference between like going to commercial processing and going to somewhere like a Publix or a H-E-B or Kroger's, or we grew up in South Florida. It's very possible you're going to have Cuban family, Jamaican families, Haitian families. Bro, there's chickens running up and down my street. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll literally I'll see them knock the chicken on the back of the head, process it, and it's like, that's beautiful to me. And as I've gotten older, like when Rob and we were in North Carolina, a few months ago, Breeze?
Yeah, early December, late November. Yep.
What you're talking about, looking up in the sky and seeing the stars, and you don't see, man, it was pitch black out there. We looked up, we were like, oh man, we were in Virginia. I think that was one of like the first pictures that.
Gosh, yep, there he went.
I think he's back.
There he is. He's back. He's back.
Hey. When we went to Virginia, that was my first time ever actually being at the top of a mountain. I was completely mind blown. And it was the funniest thing because, Andrew is like the loud brother. We're in the mountains. We're flying the drone.
Yeah. It's like
my brother goes,
everything's quiet. We're like,
it's over here. It's over here.
I found it.
People are looking at it for like,
our guy.
Yeah, that's our bear brother in the mountain.
I think too, just to go back on like how people have visceral responses to people who hunt. I think some of that is due in part to the sort of celebratory social media part of it. So if you see like a dead lion or a dead giraffe, and they're taking a picture with their rifle, that personally to me, I don't like those photos either. And I, of course, there's conservation discussions and reasonings behind that that I am not privy to and I don't want to speak on. But the image of that I can see bothers people, and then people may take that big game image and put that on every single aspect of hunting, and that's where the communication online gets rattled. So not all hunting is this sort of like big game hunting where you're out in the, out there hunting lions and giraffes and then posting photos about that. That will always spark moral and ethical conversations about whether that's ethical or not. But in terms of like harvesting meat, the last of winter, these are like survival hunting. Sure.
And that was one of the things I learned in 2025, because I felt the same way for a long time. And then I realized, like, wait, do y'all bring that meat over? They're like, no, we give it to the village. And we're like, because at its core, right, it's like we're being provided with meat, right? So there's like, and it's cool, man. And I agree with you there. Like I can 100% see there. And I think that's one of the problems with social media. I can see why social media glamorizes a certain picture, and that can immediately, we're humans, we're going to make our own belief about this image stuck in time, right? So, yeah, I agree with you there 100%. And
it's like in direct contrast to thanking your food and praying for your food, right? You have the natives, the indigenous folks, every time they hunted, or whatever specific tribe would, give thanks for what they just hunted for, because it's going to do good. And it's reciprocal. It's going to go back into the dirt, and life is a cycle.
Have you ever seen that show Meat Eater?
I haven't. No.
That's why I like that dude. I think one of the first seasons he talks about, how hunting for him is an intimate experience, because he acknowledges that this animal is given his life for my family to eat. And then he kind of talks about the history of that, of like, tribes of people in different parts of the world, rural communities where like hunting big game is not as easy as going to the store. And he said it, I'd have to find it, because that's what made me admire his entire like platform. I found this out like 4 or 5 years ago, that platform. And then obviously the more work we do in the outdoors and conversations we have and exposure we have, the more I'm like, oh, okay. I start creating my own foundational beliefs. And it's interesting. Like I enjoy the human experience. I love seeing Rob reconnect with some of his past. Like, he's like, man, because I can't tell you how many times we've been on the road and he's like, man, I wish my old man was here to like, he'd be proud of me. Like,
tell me about that, Rob. Like, what was that experience like?
Well, there were so many elements to that. Because I think, and I'm like, my dad was my age, like the age I am right now. To think about that, I was like, man, and here I am, with such a different understanding and perspective on all this, and because that was some of our core memories, and I didn't understand. It was cool. I was outside with a gun. I was a kid. I was shooting stuff and, blowing up cow poop with a shotgun and watermelon. It was awesome. Like I was doing kid stuff. My dad let me have fun with it. But also there was sitting in the deer stand for hours waiting for a deer to walk up.
You can't just
he just keeps going. Blowing up cow poop.
Let me stop clutching my pearls. You were shotgun. You were shooting cow poop with shotgun.
Yeah. So it was fun. There was either like, you could tell there was either like fresh stuff or the stuff that had been dried in the heat, and it was like a bean pie. You know what I'm saying? So I was in the mud. So I like pick them up and fling them in the lake, in the pond, so they'd be floating out there. So some of them I'd clap in the lake. I was entertained. I was like, all right, boy, just don't shoot yourself.
Right.
The funniest thing, really quick, let me interject. The funniest thing is we were in Texas on the hog hunt, and he leans over because you're supposed to be really quiet. He goes, Kush, see that right there? And I'm thinking he's going to tell me something profound. He goes, we call that a cow pie. I was like,
he was smiling like, that's my boy. But
call that a cow pie.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just, man, it's been an amazing experience, and I understand. I can see, you're a kid, man. I'm a kid doing kid stuff. I didn't understand the bond that we were creating, and also that I see, like Kush said, we have this experience. No matter how old I get, I'm always going to think about the experience Kush and I had in Texas hunting. I saw him kill his first animal. That was an emotional time for him. He was like, so, a lot went into it. So I think of, my dad and his friends, and I'm like, man, those were his brothers out there creating those memories. And
we're part of the animal kingdom. It's a cycle of life. Nature, I follow this Instagram feed. I think it's called Nature is Metal. I can't remember, but they show like full on the gory nature of humanity. Of the animal kingdom. Yeah. And all of the things we just wouldn't feel comfortable seeing. And I like watching that because it's a reminder of the reality of things.
We have this like version of, no, I shouldn't say that, because things, I remember one of my first memories of like as a kid, like I'm emotionally traumatized was like Bambi, or I shouldn't. Seriously,
hey, Bambi, man, that's trauma. Not Bambi.
Story. Remember the thing? I was like, no, what was the guy?
Why did they do like that? That was tough. Bambi dying.
Seriously, all jokes aside, like I remember that, like I was like, why do I feel like this? I'm a kid. I don't know how to process this yet. Me go play all outside. But that's a great point. I think we all forget that, because it's like
I'm sorry, Bambi's mother, right?
I'm sorry, what?
It was we have a little lag. It was Bambi's mother who died.
Yeah, it was Bambi's mother. Oh man, bringing me back. I know, Bambi. It's true though. Even like as we talk about it, it's like, I have a dystopian view of things, like, because I could get on Amazon and something's delivered to my front door in 3 hours. It's like I'm not out hunting I'm hunting on the internet for things. Like, gotcha. Throw the cart. And it's just, man, it's so true. Just this conversation we're having, to even the realization for myself, which is cool.
We Absolutely. Got to pause right here. You know why? I just remember. Rob, you haven't played a beat.
I haven't, man. I want to talk to Wilkine about so many things, because I know.
So let's just play it, and let's just say this is the beat for this episode.
Okay, I forgot to turn my backlight on. Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very informal we are here.
Wilkine, because I know you're probably gonna do clips and stuff, but the backlight gives like the
aesthetic.
Not just aesthetic, but also just for foreground contrast. My bad, y'all.
Play your beat, Breeze. We'll just play it, and then we'll just Sam. Fun fact here, Breezy.
Oof.
Fun fact here, Breezy. Me, Wilkine, my brother, and David Castro used to be in a rap group in high school.
Spitting bars.
And then that quickly faded.
That's a great thing. Because seriously, well, y'all could talk about that, but I want to know, like, what was your first, like, I know for me, there's songs that are seared into my mind that I can remember as a kid. Like, do you have that moment, like that musical moment, Wilkine, as a kid? Like, yo, what is this? I want to find more of this, and like picked up the passion for it, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a very deep question that I haven't put much thought to. My answer right now would probably be a historical type answer. So growing up, Haitians went through a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment. So that had led to a lot of bullying. And it's weird to even use that term bullying, because that's just now in hindsight, that's exactly what it was. Until Haitians turned things back over. Like, hey, you mess with one Haitian, now you messing, but that took a while to adjust to what was going on. Why were people who looked just like me against me, and vice versa? So it wasn't until the Fugees came out that gave us cultural capital in the United States. So I would say, the Fugees was also very similar to Outkast, where it wasn't like boom bap rap hip hop. It was musical, and there was a lot of social commentary baked into it. And it was experimental in a sense. You heard Fugees and you're like, whoa, this feels different. And not only did it feel different, it had a direct impact on my life in terms of perspective and people viewing us. I'm sorry, perception. The perception of Haitians changed when Fugees came out. And so I would say growing up, that had a huge impact on how I viewed the power of music. I was also a very big Pac fan. I loved the sort of dichotomy that he presented, even though there were times I disagreed with Pac. I thought Dear Mama was absolutely phenomenal for me. To hear a man show that much vulnerability and also reverence for the woman in his life. That had a huge impact for me. Also, just in terms of sports, my ambitions as a rider, used to get me right.
Yeah.
You know, any player in front of me can get it when that song came on. You dig?
Yeah.
And I just love different types of music. My first white friend, I think any black guy from a particular area has a first white friend.
I'm
right?
like, yo, I was someone's first white friend.
My first white friend was a guy named Scott. This is like third grade, Melaleuca Elementary School. And Scott introduced me to Metallica.
No way.
Yo, when I was like, what is this?
Yo, I think of the gifts when the kid's putting on the headset at the playground and he's like transformed, like, yo, what is this?
That was me. This time it was with a Walkman. Yeah, we old young, right?
Man, come on.
Hey, Wilkine, listen to this. All right, what is it?
Yeah. You're like, whoa, these guys are aggressive, man.
Yeah. And he matched the aesthetic as well, the shirts, you know. And here I am, come from Dyson Circle, an all-black neighborhood. And now me and Scott are walking to his house listening to Metallica. And then I go back to my neighborhood and we bumping Mystical from No Limit.
Bro.
So my range of music was all over the place. I go home and my mom's also, even though she's Haitian, she's playing reggae. She's also playing compa music, you know? So I am getting exposed to a variety of music and it's informing my worldview in multiple ways. So it was never one-dimensional. And so I give thanks to music. I give thanks to spoken word poetry. I give thanks to the arts because that's what exposed me to different perceptions of life, you know?
The timing was perfect.
That was amazing. Geez, there's so many, like, wow, that was a very elegant and thoughtful answer. I expect nothing less from our brother Wilkine. There's so many elements of that because I think, wow, I saw some of that Haitian, right? Like you said, yo, we look alike. What's going on? I saw that with the New Yorkers too. Like, you know, it's like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn, B. And it's like, yo, well, I'm from Pahokee. Yo, we're like the same, but just such different cultures. No, seriously, like I had, you know, I know it wasn't you say bully, and man, it just opens my mind to think about some of the things I saw in high school, you know, and that, man, you're right. Like you had to earn your stripes. Like y'all fought for it. Like it wasn't just handed to you. Like y'all had to really take your lumps and go through things, and to see that and not fully understand it in high school, because we all did. You know, I took my lumps in middle school and I learned, you know, I was mixed with kids that were from the rough areas of Boynton Beach, you know, Seacrest and stuff. And I'm like, yo, what is this? And I just think about it from your perspective as well. So to bring that like to a head with what you were saying and how you know, because I never thought, I love the Fugees, you know, but I'm a white dude from the suburbs. So I love them because a lot of the things you said, why you love them, but to think, yo, this is why Wyclef's a Haitian brother like myself, you know, and this is power in this music.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, man, that was like such an amazing answer. And just to give you like your flowers of for anyone listening, because I know a lot of people are listening. You know, there is power in music and representation and culture. And I think that's a beautiful thing to hear your version of it, you know?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Like, and like, I'm sure there's a bunch of other people that, you know, like brothers and sisters like yourself that it had that same impact. And man, that's one thing about being a creative that I love. So I just want to say that was an amazing answer.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
And it's so unifying too. Music.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what area you're look at what
we talk about Bob Marley all the time. We're like, who doesn't like Bob Marley? You know, like,
that's how I know
put on Bob Marley and someone gets mad. Turn this off. Who is that guy? He's an alien.
That's how I know something's wrong with my sister. She doesn't like Bob. I'm like, what? You don't like Bob Marley?
Man.
I mean, to each their own, but that's like the barometer of all barometers.
Yeah,
like, I feel like you can really get a sense of this. Bob is cool. Okay, cool. We're cool.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people are against the public celebration of an artist versus the craftsmanship. If you love music, you're going to listen to the craft of that artist and respect what it took in that particular studio. Some people have never been in a music studio and don't understand how a verse is created in that moment. You know, a rapper or a singer might hear something else from someone else and be like, no, say it this way. And then they don't realize that say it this way can make the hit song. You know, some people don't like Eminem. For me, I love the technical rapping skills of Eminem, especially during Marshall Mathers. You know, when I went to England for the first time, what was I bumping? I was bumping Eminem along with other artists at the time because I was listening to the way in which he put bars together.
Unreal.
Syllables. And, you know, you love a wordsmith, whether it's in hip hop or singer. And so, yeah, I think people need to separate this idea that you can hate the fact that everyone loves this artist and you don't like that aspect of it. Remove that and just, at least to some extent, give credit to the craftsmanship, you know?
So, question for you.
Okay, where are you going with this, Coach?
I'm going to say, is he the... Okay, all right, I got the question. Is he the fork in the road for when peak lyricism is on radio because of how he's able to manipulate words? Meaning, like, bend the actual word to make it make sense with words that aren't traditional rhyming
words. Yeah. What do you mean by fork in the road, though? Like what?
So after him, you know, up to him, it was like a lot of underground lyricism. There was obviously, you know, the Jay-Z and Rockefellers of the time. And that's just, you're talking lyricism at a very high level. But everyone in the industry knows something about Eminem in his wordplay and how he bends words. It's just mind-boggling. And I think we saw more of that after him. Case in point, like, what's the song? Good Morning, Kanye West. Good Morning.
Yeah.
Get him in his valedictorian, like, adding.
I think some underground artists were already doing that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so I think Eminem may have made it more popular,
right?
And has great musical skills. It's one reason why a lot of underground artists aren't popular, because they may be too lyrical and aren't out. I don't want to say simplifying, but aren't adding enough musicality into their music. And that's the difference between an Eminem and like an underground artist. That's the difference between a Nas, Illmatic.
Yep.
Illmatic has a lot of jazz influences. And Nas is also one of my favorite artists because of the storytelling part of it, right? Eminem can sometimes go too lyrical on the song, and he stretches a verse too long, and sometimes you can lose sight of what he's trying to say. You can love the fact that he's bending the words, but then then the song just turns into a song where Eminem is bending words and there's nothing coming out of no substance. Yeah, exactly. And so that's one major critique that you could have about Eminem. But like any album, any movie, you're always going to find things you can critique while also giving praise simultaneously. For a long time, Nas was accused of not picking proper beats that can match the fervor of his lyricism. What sets Kendrick Lamar is like in between both, is great at picking solid production to match his experimental approach to making music. He's like in between both, hard lyricist, but also is experimental in his music selection. And so that's what kind of like makes him great.
And Section 80 was jazz influence.
Jazzy, yeah.
That's my favorite genre of music is jazz.
Like, well, I think of like Tribe when you start, Native Tongues, Tribe stuff, like or heavy jazz, which really, man, that's a whole, because that as a kid, it's funny, you have the Metallica experience and I have the Jam Pony Express experience in elementary school.
Miami.
Have you ever heard of Jam Pony? And I was like, Jam, the male people, like. He put his Walkman and they're like, it's Jam, we live. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
They're riding. I want to say they were riding over a LL Cool J song. And I was like, yo, bro, what is this? Where do I find it? He's like, you just gotta, my baby's on. I told him we might get a guest appearance. Go ahead. And I was just like, I got home. I'm like, Mom, I want to listen to rap. And bless my mom's heart. She brought me to the mall. And dude probably laughed when I left. I was like, yo, man, I need some rap albums. Run DMC.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys and LL Cool J.
Man.
Bigger and Deffer. Bro, when I tell you like that transformed it really did. I mean, that's not that's when I, started exploring DJing and production and opening my eyes to like, how is this music made? And the whole point of me is like other genres. Like, because remember we used to read the credits, you pull out the credits.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yes.
Like, what?
Read the lyrics and all.
They didn't create all this music from scratch. Now, some of it they did, props to them. But like, that's where I found samples and Earth, Wind and Fire and Gap Band. And I'm like, what is all this stuff? So it's just amazing how one door can lead to the next.
Absolutely. And shape how you view the world too. I think for me, since I come from the spoken word poetry and I always wrestled with commercialized rap and some of the messages that they were spewing out. But when I grew up, I knew that it wasn't just the artist, it was the distribution. It's the radio program managers that were not allowing a multitude of artists to express their thoughts, whether it's anti-government sentiments, whether it's rapping about nature, all of like the different topics that you could rap about was not readily accessible on a radio. It was typically violence, misogyny, and maybe some anti-government sentiments, maybe some social commentary baked in there, right? A little bit of medicine, but mostly junk food. A little bit of steak, but mostly junk food, right? And then you have to like search underground for the type of music that you want. And I always felt that was irresponsible of a lot of radio programmers but then you realize, there's payola, the music business is a corrupt industry. So the artists that you want to push out, there's a lot of politics behind the distribution of the music. So we're having a love for artistry, but like the music industry business conversation is a whole different beast.
I was gonna say we could go on like a whole nother hour of because I forget my brother's name from Poor Righteous Teachers, but he talks about that. He's like, it was very intentional. He's like, you go back to when Public Enemy was around, Fight the Power. There was very like politically charged records on the it was, and then there was this shift. And he's like, that wasn't unintentional. And like, because it was a lot of power to that. Like, look at that.
Imagine if radio programmers at that time were putting Tribe Called Quests and all of these sort of, Big Brother, or not, I'm sorry, Little Brother, all of these, the Roots, you name it.
I mean,
if they were just like much more in the forefront, then perhaps Pac would not have switched to Death Row and sort of like created that, dichotomy between the Black Power, Black Panther Pac versus the, Thug Life Pac.
Yeah, because he came up with what? Digital Underground. Like he was what you got?
So really, Big Brother did suppress Little Brother.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, hit the bell or something.
I got you.
So there it is. So I know, I get it.
The wrong book.
Everyone talks lists. Who's your top 5? Who's your top 10? Do you have lists? Do you have a Mount Rushmore? It doesn't have to be all the same genre. Like, if it is cool, like, do you have? It doesn't have to be.
Well, let's stick on hip hop, because if it doesn't have to be the same genre, I'm gonna go all over the place.
That's fine. I mean, if we're talking hip hop, who's like, who do you have?
Miles Davis,
right? Who could be all over the place?
Well, I remember a guy was talking about. Kush remembers this because I came in like so perplexed. He was talking about the greatest albums of all time, and it was an older, if I'm 48, this was probably 10 years ago. I'm 38, the guy's 52, something like that.
I think the question itself is a difficult question because it's not all encompassing. So, in other words, some of these questions have to be put into categories.
Sure.
If the question is who is your top 5, your top Rushmore artists in terms of lyricism, then you're gonna give your list. Musicality, then you're gonna. But obviously, people want the overall, right?
Right. I said Aquemini, and this white dude looked at me like I was speaking a different language, and he's like, "What is that?"
He doesn't know Outkast?
I said Outkast Aquemini because he was talking like some older R&B rock albums, the Beatles, stuff like that. And I said, well, if we're talking all time albums, I got to say Aquemini. And he's like, Aquemini.
His head imploded.
Like, he kind of gave me one of those like, and I was like, wow, this dude has no idea because because it's a rap, or hip hop. It's like, the musicality in that album.
Exposure. Another thing. If you're not exposed.
You talk about the bell curve going on a ride on a music, and it's like, man, this dude just totally, because it's a genre that he doesn't. And I understand it to a sense, but I'm like, wow, to certain people, that's not, to us, it's like this masterpiece of an album. And this guy was just like, it's not even in the same category as the stuff.
Rico Wade.
Organized noise. Yeah. Again, if you're not exposed to a multitude of genres, even within hip hop, your list is going to be biased. And also, typically people ask this question on the spot, and when you ask a question like that, you're gonna forget albums that is probably your favorite, but you haven't sat down and wrote it down and had your list and broke it down, So I'm going to go off the whim, off the top of my head. Once the interview's over, I'm going to be mad because I know I'm going to be like, how did I forget this album?
I was listening to it before the show.
Okay, I abuse my plants, my plant wife. All right, so to not destroy myself, my list is not going to be in order. Can I get that?
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay, bet. Individual artists or group or just
whatever? Yeah,
whatever. That's fine.
I'll do individual artist.
Okay.
Top 5 from hip hop.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Nas. We're gonna go with Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Andre 3000, 3 Stacks. We're going to go with Pac just because of what he meant to me as a young age and, just feeding some of that social commentary at a time where gangster rap was gangster rap. He still had enough songs at that time. That 5th one is going to be really, really tough. My goodness. We're going to go with, oh my God. The main rapper from The Roots. Why am I drawing a blank? Black Thought. I was about to say Black Ice, who's a spoken word poet. Black Thought. Black Thought is, Lupe is Lupe Fiasco is definitely it's between Lupe and Black Thought for me.
Okay.
So that's gonna be tough. You know what? I'm gonna switch out Black Thought for Lupe Fiasco.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's and I think it's because of more individual bodies of work from Lupe. Because my list right now that I just gave you is individual artists. Which means individual albums that were created by that individual artist. Black Thought, unfortunately, doesn't have a discography that is just Black Thought. It's just with The Roots. So for this category of individual artists who produce individual bodies of work, Lupe Fiasco has to go above Black Thought for me.
I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I'm so glad you didn't say MF Doom.
Oh,
I just can't get into him. I don't know why.
Yeah, sonically, I can't get into him
more
MF.
lately.
I like MF as a creative artist and as an artist who pushed the boundaries of what it means to be a hip hop artist.
Yeah,
and I feel like whenever you hear someone say MF Doom, they're also talk about him encompassing the sort of nerdy part of hip hop, having the mask and you're pushing against the grain of like, rocking Timbs and baggy jeans and the stereotypical standard of what a hip hop artist should look like.
Yeah.
Man, if we jump to groups, I can only presume there'd be like some Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep.
Wait, so are we jumping a group now, or are you gonna?
Let's jump to groups. We'll do it.
Okay, let's
groups.
Yeah,
let's go.
Are y'all gonna mention y'all individual artists first, and then we jump to groups?
Let's back into the spot. Let's park here.
Wait, hold on. Don't park yet. So, Rob, you got to mention your top 5 individual hip hop artists.
Oh, geez.
And then
okay.
Put me on the spot, and then jump out of the car. You're gonna park, and you out the window.
Okay. My top 5: 3 Stacks, Andre 3000, Ice Cube. I was a huge Ice Cube fan. You talk about influence. I had every album he dropped. He was like, to me, like one of the greatest storytellers, rappers. He could make a movie out of a song. DMX, bro, I love DMX. That's one of my he's man, I think I missed a lot of not missed it, but it's amazing how you write this music we listened to when we were so young, how it changes. Its meaning changes the older we get, and we listen to it and we hear some different perspectives. And DMX is up there for me. I go back and forth, man. I had Jay-Z for a while. I love Nas. I think it's amazing what Nas is doing. Like he's been like, him and Hit Boy have just like are making this magic. It's tough for me to pick between those two, so I'd probably throw Prodigy in there from Mobb Deep. I think when he was in his prime, like it was tough to out rap Prodigy from Mobb Deep. He's got arguably probably the greatest verse ever on Shook Ones from start to finish. I mean, bar for bar, it's like one of the mob movies we talk about, scene after scene after.
When they play that live, the crowd is just
bro.
Was that 4 or 5? I don't know if I did 4 or 5 there. And you know what, man, only because the dual, like, I love Kanye. When Kanye was in his bag as an MC and a producer.
Which Kanye?
Man, I know there's so many different. Early
Kanye,
drop out to like dark twisted fantasy.
Yeah,
okay, that Kanye. All right.
Not to say he didn't drop any, but that core run of albums like Graduation, and unbelievable.
Man, my list is gonna vary because I'll start off Scarface.
Ooh.
I love Scarface. I love how textured he gets and internal, explorative with himself and his feelings. I've always loved Master P. He'll always be, because I love the idea of ownership, and I love how he was very community with the label. So I'm not even just talking like.
So you're not talking about like the crapmanship of lyrics at this point.
Yeah.
As individual artists.
Just as individual artists. Like, I'm gonna have to go Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z just because the lyricism there, and again, ownership. I'm gonna have to go Nas for same thing. Like he can be very insightful, and to me, he's like a modern audio version of Picasso, and he can paint the pictures that are reality of being in the inner city.
That was a bar,
right? So when I hear him, like I can visualize it because there's similarities there that I hear. And then there's let's see, that's 4 DMX because he's like, to me, he always reminded me, this is even before any of like my faith stuff. I remember, this guy is openly talking about his struggle with a higher power
and praying.
And I've always loved that because there's always, no matter who you are and where you're at in the world, there's always some level of authority over you.
Yeah.
Or a person to take a position of like, yo, I need help, but at the same time, why is this happening to me? Like, why are you like that sort of like desperation of wanting to be loved and still rebel against that very thing that created you to be loved, right?
Ooh,
so
what a great breakdown,
man. So that would be my top 5. And
have you guys seen that Jay-Z interview when he was talking about going on tour and DMX? He had to go after DMX. DMX comes out, you hear the roar, right?
Man.
The growling, I mean, and then he goes into a set.
He's crying, he's praying. He's got his shirt off.
And then Jay-Z's like,
guys love him.
And Jay-Z goes, I gotta go on after
this guy.
It's a hard knock life.
Can I just throw in 3 people that I rotate in and out?
Yeah.
Real quick, and then we'll stop. Pimp C, R.I.P. Pimp C, Trick Daddy from the Crib, and JT Money.
JT Money.
Yo, in his prime, Poison Clan, JT Money. Storytelling, he had it all, bro. He was the full package. And as a South Florida dude, I grew up idolizing that dude. He was amazing.
Storytelling ability was it was
second to none. So
I love
if you haven't heard of JT Money or Poison Clan, if you're outside, check them out. Definitely.
You know what's fascinating? It's kind of like watching a film. I always equate listening to music with like watching a film. You could watch Godfather and not feel like you want to kill your brother in real life. You just know the violence is there, right? You have a window into what you're watching, and you could suspend disbelief and all that. And so you could listen to a rapper who you completely disagree with the value system that they're adhering to, but the storytelling is compelling. And so it's kind of like women who love crime podcasts. I'm not quite sure what the data says, but we do know that most women love crime podcasts. And I do want to know why that is. But the storytelling, I assume, is a big part of it as well. And typically, if the storytelling is compelling across all artists, you're just going to fall in love with the craftsmanship of it,
Yep. So hold on. I gotta say this because we're nearing an hour.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing episode, and I kind of want to bring it all together. So outdoors music. Is there anything you're listening to while you're out on your hikes or you're out in the outdoors?
So I typically listen to all types of music. There's a 2-prong answer to that. As of late, I have tried to experiment not listening to anything, whether it's a podcast or music, when I'm working out or in moments where I am getting up to use the bathroom, right? You take your phone, you're scrolling. I am trying to allow my mind to just wander. And I've been trying that experiment in the last 2 weeks or so. So I'll go to my community gym in my neighborhood and I won't play music. I used to play Ace Hood. Ace Hood was like my music, or Dead Prez that get me hype. Lately, I'm just like silence.
You and your thoughts.
In my thoughts. And I've noticed more ideas pop up. I've noticed more mental rest. Because if every aspect of your day is filled with content, and you are listening to content, whether it's music or a podcast, in almost every moment, and then you have to produce content as part of your job, you never have real mental rest, because after your work day, then you want to watch a movie to debrief. And and so lately I've been trying that, and that has worked. But in terms of new music, Chronix, reggae artist.
Shout out Chronix. Wow, bro. Hold on. Here we go.
I've been listening to Chronix lately, and I love music that gives me that higher vibration. I love Anderson .Paak. I think, again, another artist that has great musicality and storytelling capabilities. And so I know I'm missing a lot of people. Jill Scott has a new album coming out, so I'm still in love with Neo Soul. Different types of music. Miles Davis, whenever I'm in the, jazz mood, a little bit of Charles Mingus.
I mean, listen.
So I'm all over the place, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, Rob and I usually, when we're out, like actually outdoors, we typically don't listen to anything because, like you said, bro, we work with media, in media, and it's like, no, let's enjoy the stillness of the night. Let's enjoy the God's creation, right? Like we love just being in nature, just being present, which is
hearing birds chirp.
That's it.
Wow.
I think it magnifies how much we have these things at our disposal too. When you're like, I realize how much I'm looking for my phone sometimes when we're out, and it's the stillness, or I want to see do I have a text message? So it's definitely like I said, a magnifying glass, if you will, to how much like you said, we're creatives too. So even at the studio, we'd work on music all day, and then sometimes, man, we got to work on my album after this. Let's do it tomorrow. So it's good, man. That balance is key.
You need that balance, for your soul, for your spirit.
And now, let's wrap it up with this. Any advice for young people from similar areas that we grew up in that are venturing or have access to something like the outdoors, whether it's through a mentor or through family? What advice would you give them?
The advice I would give them is a holistic one. Typically, when I talk about any advice, I speak on having a structure in your life, particularly guiding principles. And I have my 4 Ps that I live by. It's purpose, planning, persistence, and patience, in that order. Yep. In that order. In that order. You got to have purpose. You have to plan out your day. You have to be persistent in whatever you do, having that grit. And then you have to have patience. In other words, give yourself grace, especially when you want results to come. But sometimes results may take a while. But you have to have some bullet points to visualize and check off. And that's the sort of process that has worked for me. And my 4 Ps may not apply to that young person. However, structure will always apply. That's a universal thing.
Oh, yeah.
You need a budget whenever you're running a business. You need a budget for your family. Coaches have a whiteboard whenever they're drawing up plays for their players. Teachers have a whiteboard whenever they're drawing up lessons for their students. You should apply those same principles to your life. Budget, have that whiteboard ready, and experiment. It doesn't mean you don't make room for spontaneity, but it does mean that if you have structure, you at least can visualize your vision. I want to see where I'm going and where I need to improve, and allow failure to be data, and not allow failure to be part of my identity. It's just here's where I failed. Here's where I can improve now. That's what the message I would give to young folks listening to this podcast. And you could take that principle to the outdoors. If you're trying to learn how to hunt, there it is. There's a lesson in every L. I heard that the other day.
That's great advice. Man, it's always
too early. Damn.
Oh yeah, ready? Hats off. There you go. Great job. Folks, I wanna wrap this up and say I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. It's been a very meaningful, very powerful and profound conversation, just simply for me personally, because this is a lifelong brother of mine, and I love the culmination of where our lives have come, and the crossroads that we're at with, as adults outdoors, and still being conscious and very centered with what we're absorbing and taking in, as far as content and anything else that may sway our belief system. And for a lot of people, exploring the outdoors some of us are new coming into it from a sense of like we just hadn't done it in 20 years, and for others it's a lifestyle thing. And I hope that this episode was insightful for y'all, and we appreciate y'all tuning in, staying tapped in. And if you disagree with our list, well, drop us a comment and let us know. Y'all have
One love.